Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. Let me introduce today's speaker, Mr. Nilesh Desai. Mr. Nilesh Desai is founder and CEO of SMEA Analytics. He is an MSME expert and is the author of the book, The Unexplored Gold Mine, The Opportunities in the Revival of the Sick MSMEs. He is fond of writing daily newsletters to spread the awareness about the MSME world. Mr. Desai has a vast experience of 41 years in the engineering industry. Mr. Desai has widespread knowledge in MSMEs and he is working toward increasing the operational efficiency of the MSME units. He is a member in various committees and represents the interest of MSME. He has traveled extensively and has business association in Australia. Now, Mr. Nilesh Desai will start the webinar.
Thank you, Sri Ramni. Can we start the webinar now?
Sir.
Slide, please. Good afternoon to everybody. Today's webinar is Human Resources, Hard Skill and Soft Skill. This is a part of Churn and or Burn webinar series, which is likely to be my second book. Next slide, please. Next slide. I will divide today's topic in two parts. One as human resources as profit center, and second part on importance of hard skill and soft skill and how it can be deployed in MSMEs. Next slide, please. Talent is one ingredient that makes or breaks the company. It is a complex beast between you and your vision. See, talent is a critical component, but our MSME are not giving enough attention to it. Human resources is a larger function of talent management, popularly known as manpower, is a very critical for success of any enterprise. Researchers have built the evidence that links human resource management practice with enterprise performance. India has got a large pool of manpower. India has got roughly 130 crore people, and about 50% of that is in the age group to identify the right kind of skill and manpower is the toughest decision any entrepreneur has to take. The success of MSME largely depends upon the enthusiasm, competency, resource and commitment of a single person, that is entrepreneur, around whom the enterprise resolves. So please understand, the success of MSME depends on enthusiasm, competency, resources and commitment of a single person. Of enterprise revolves around him. Research suggests that employees in MSME are described as the invisible workforce. In reality, a big house. Thus, such brand image of MSME makes them an unattractive destination for well-qualified employees. See, in India, engineering college, commerce college, they turn out many fresh graduates, but they do not come to work with MSME because MSME are not has not been branded as the best for that. And one of the reason is human resource management in MSME is the reason. There is a strong need to research on formal policies in examining people practices in MSME. This is very much required, and I request a lot of my PhD friends or whoever are doing that this subject has to be taken in priority if India has to reach $5 trillion economy. With current emphasis of both state and central government to promote MSME under Atmanirbhar packages, making MSME attractive for young, energetic, qualified employees is the most important and need of the hour. Good CRM practices contribute to high organizational performance. Thus, MSME should take innovative and better HRM practice to enhance organizational performance. Most MSME follow some of the practice like selection, recruitment, training, performance appraisal in one way or the other. Maybe formal or informal. I do not know whether this slide will come. Please bear with us, there is no power, so we are running on computer batteries. Please share the screen. Somebody is looking into this comment. 25 comments are there. Somebody attending. Of this is a job description. Many MSME entrepreneurs, they do not go in details of what exactly they are expecting from the employee. So first, if they write down the job description in as much detail as possible, the selection process is easy. For selecting manpower, first step for any entrepreneurs will be to crystallize job description based on job analysis. It generally includes duties, purpose, responsibility, scope, and working conditions of a job along with the job titles. So that is described in a graphical form, which is coming here. The skill acquired is the biggest pool of intangible asset which entrepreneurs creates in first few years. Loyal and skilled manpower increase the valuation of the enterprise. Once the job description, the above has to be done by both blue-collared and white-collared employees. See, the job description, we don't make it enough for workers. Workers are also a critical part of any organization. Once the job description is ready, from where to acquire such skill process starts. It can be through advertisement, digital job site, board outside factory, referral, and many more. There are various methods for getting the people for interview. Generally, it is found in initial phase. Entrepreneurs hire or engage his friends and relatives. But once the units start growing, these people may become obstacle. So entrepreneurs should be very cautious for selecting from friends and relatives. And see, in first 2-3 years, some known person, friend and relative we hire. And then when the company grows, we find that he is becoming a bottleneck for the growth because his vision, his purpose will be totally different, maybe many times totally different. And instead of helping the enterprise to grow, he become an obstacle. So this practice should be avoided as far as possible. This is a red signal. Generally, blue-collar jobs requires more manual work where physics of the person is critical, and depending on the nature of industry, the numbers required will be identified and selected. Machine operations and semi-skilled workers also falls in this category. See, every manufacturing company will have some machines. So they may require operators or supporters to that known as semi-skilled person, and over a span of time to be going in higher position. Generally, once this is done, supervisor is the second most critical part, who is a link in between entrepreneur and shop floor worker. Generally, onboarding new workers, creating and managing team schedules, evaluating performance and providing feedback, identifying and applying career advancement, helping to resolve employees' issue. So supervisor is the next most critical in a MSME sector, and as in a smaller level. Once the company starts growing, managers and assistant manager, DGM, GM, all that will come, but that depends on how much entrepreneur is ready to delegate the work and how much load, because generally it is found entrepreneur would like not to delegate the work, and he wants to go in micromanaging, which is again a bottleneck for growth of MSME unit. Next, there are 7 crucial skills required in supervisors are communication, conflict resolution, leadership, critical thinking, interpersonal skill, time and property management, and problem solving. These are the typical skills which are required. See, if he is able to communicate between workers and entrepreneur, he is a great asset. There will be a lot of dispute coming up in the shop floor. He should be able to solve that. Leadership, critical thinking, interpersonal skills. These are all very critical in a supervisor. In small MSME, supervisor is a bridge between entrepreneur and workers. He helps entrepreneur in production planning, raw materials required, also for planning for tools and tackles. As he matures, many times he gets involved in financial matters also. Once a supervisor workers are decided and production starts, the need of administrative staff like accounts, sales, marketing will have to be addressed by entrepreneurs depending on the growth of the enterprise. Accountants generally perform billing and accounting duty. They support account receivable, payable, reconciliation work as cashier and maintains records. Next important is sales representative. Is a principal point of contact between a business and its customer. He ensures right product and services, identify new market and customer leads, and pitch prospective customers. He also gets a lot of feedback from the customer, and he can also help in improving the product quality or product services as the feedback. And he can interact with entrepreneur or many times entrepreneur and supervisor both. These 4 will be core team and will build and serve the enterprise to grow from start to 1 to 2 crore turnover. From here to grow to a larger turnover will require different mindset. And here they require to develop organizational chart. Many MSMEs after 1 or 2 crores still they want to continue with the same organization structure, which is not right. He has to map the organized structure for next 3 to 5 years and take correct actions accordingly. See, power has come. Entrepreneur has to delegate more responsibility to various team members and selecting senior, middle level as well as and when the need arises, and as these posts are very crucial, entrepreneur cannot make mistake in selecting, and they will define culture of the unit, which is why Japanese are winning. Japanese are that work culture is totally different than what is existing in India, and we have to learn a lot from Japanese. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Onboarding. So once you have started selecting the candidate, the second important part is to onboard the people. So onboarding of any new employee worker is very critical for retaining the person. If it is a white collar job, these 7 steps will help. Prepare colleagues for the new employee. So when somebody is joining, existing staff should be informed which this gentleman is joining and these are his roles and responsibility, so that mentally the old people are ready to welcome him or adjust with the new circumstances. Have the new employee's workstation ready to go. So when the new employee is joining, he needs a seating arrangement and other things. It should be prepared well in advance. Have a new employee, make sure your new employee has access to any necessary programs. Make introduction, plan a team lunch, allow plenty of time for training. Also for retaining top talent, following on onboarding process will help. Automate what you can. Do something special for your employees. Keep it personal and ease. First day anxieties. See, when a new entrepreneur when any new employee join, he has got anxiety, and that anxiety has to be eased. Otherwise, he will be feeling embraced. So that has to be taken. Make it interactive as far as possible. Spend a day with him, or spend half an hour, 1 hour every day with him till he under what will make successful. This is again and role entrepreneur has to do. Now I will go to importance of training. Next slide, please. Next presentation. Next presentation written is there or not? Next slide, please. Importance of training. Training is most critical component for creating high performance organization, and this is the most neglected area for MSMEs. The return on training is very high, as it will increase longevity of employee, also attract new talent. It is highly recommended to invest in In large corporate, learning opportunities get reduced and will sharpen in one function, while in MSME you will be exposed to multi-skilling and will help you to find out your inner strength and inner skill, which is very critical for any human. See, we don't treat as employer and employee, but employee is a human and his inner strength or he's finding what he is capable of has to be experimented with various multi-skilling possibilities which are available with MSME. To overcome the challenges, MSME entrepreneur can work out various compensation package like performance bonus, ESOP, and many such ways. Today, MSMEs are not aware of ESOP. ESOP is Employee Stock Exchange Program. So any MSME which wants to go for IPO, they can allocate some work or some portion of their share as a bonus or many ways to reward the employees who have stayed with him and have various things he is doing. So this ESOP should be considered by many MSME as one of the viable alternative for compensating the labor put by all employees. Next slide, please. Importance of interns and apprentice. See, the importance of interns. Various MBA college, engineering college offer for various internship opportunities for their students. MSME sector can use these resources. As for growing MSME, each entrepreneur has many ideas, but he or his staff does not have time beyond looking day-to-day activities. And now digitization and use of digital technology has to be adopted. And during their internship, these students can contribute a lot to existing staff and can take bird's view, which will generate many new possible initiatives for growth of enterprise. So I will highly recommend to take summer interns or whatever time they are available from the engineering college, MBA college. For last 5-6 years, I am using these resources because when I wanted to become a consultant, I have used their resources to find out, help me to do lot of research work. And this way, they also keep learning. I also keep learning. Also, this student can be a source of permanent job after their college or degree, etc. Once they are acquainted with you, their college is over, they may be able to be joining with you, depending on what is their career goals. And if you can meet their career aspiration, naturally they will like to join you because they know you. There is a familiarity between your company and the particular interns. Apprenticeship is another source of getting a manpower. Government government to increase employability has introduced many opportunities via apprenticeship. ITI, diploma, and engineers are available under various schemes. Government has created tasks for this purpose. So for making fresh students industry ready, task is performing this job and helping bridge the gap between freshers and enterprise. And this is very useful function government of Telangana is doing. Now I will give some idea about human capital matrix. Next slide, please. Next slide. We'll have to run through this faster because we lost 5-7 minutes. Human capital matrix. Employee skill, knowledge, and experience add value to the unit's performance, and hence it is necessary to define parameters which will create metrics which will support decision making like hiring, training, and promotions. Human capital ROI. The ratio shows how much business earns compared to employment cost. Employment cost will include salaries, health insurance, premium, retirement plan contribution, and ESI and PF. So human capital ROE is equal to revenue minus operating expenses minus employees compensation divided by employees compensation. So I have given an example of that this thing. This will be available. Training is investment value. Now next thing, many MSME entrepreneurs think that training is a waste of time or waste of money. Please understand that training is very crucial for long-term survival of any business. Training investment value is equal to total training investment divided by headcount, turnover rate. Any employer, we know that hiring and training expenses can add up. How would you like employees not to do not rate is equal to number of employees leave divided by average number of employees. This is very critical. As higher the turnover, you will lose your brand in job market. Etc. will increase. This is very critical. And see, 10% to 15% turnover can be considered reasonable. Last year, because of Corona, IT companies have faced 30-35% attrition rate, and now they are recruiting fresh talent. In AccuCenter itself is hiring 60,000 fresh graduates for their development center. Thus, all big companies put together, and even they are going to tier 2, tier 3 cities to hunt for a job. Next slide, please. Next slide. Apart from absenteeism and overtime, are also to be reduced, and suitable policy reviews will help the growth of enterprise. Government has taken steps like ESI, PF gratuity, government to increase doing business. So they are in process to change certain labor laws. Entrepreneurs should keep a watch on these changes. Next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. See, I am skipping one slide of team building as I am covering in the second part. So I am going directly to skill mapping and skill gap analysis. When the organization is on high growth path, skill mapping and skill gap analysis will help. And in later stages, there are various valuation metrics are available to find out valuation of manpower. It is a complex mechanism, but when units may look to get investors or look for merger and acquisition, this will be a critical function. Now I will go to my second part of the speech. Next. Hard skill and soft skill in MSME. Hard skill, also referred to as measurable abilities. Hard skill is obtained through education, training, certification, and professional experience. Against that, soft skill, also called people skill, are the mix of social and interpersonal skills, character traits, and professional attitudes that all jobs require. Time management, communication are few examples. Be fast. Next slide, please. Be fast now. Time is running. Hard skill and soft skill. Hard skill can be developed, but soft skill are to be nurtured. And for any MSME unit, this is always ongoing process as an entry level for any employees. While job description is prepared and candidates selected, all hard skill and soft skill may not be usually available in one candidate at the salary level. And entrepreneurs look. So he compromises, and hard skill are first looked into, and he always try to develop soft skill in various ways. This is very critical because salary is a restricting factor, though he may have a better hard skill or better soft skill. Entrepreneur has to compromise. Next slide, please. I will list out 10 main soft skill with its subcategory. Time management. Time management involves the ability to use your time wisely. So what we can look into is prioritizing. How employee is prioritizing his time. How does he do the planning? How he is setting his goal? This will improve his time management performance. Next, please. Be fast. Communication. Communication is the ability to convey or share your ideas and feelings effectively. The most common communication skills are verbal communication, written communication, presentation, constructive feedback, and active listening. So these communication skills, these are all what I am talking about, soft skill, which can be developed by employee or employer or any human by themselves. They have to practice certain things. Next slide, please. Adaptability. Adaptability shows how well you can embrace change and adjust to it. See, suppose earthquake happens, you have to adapt to the circumstances and redo all the things. Adaptability, you change a job in new environment, you will have to be adaptive. Companies and work environment constantly change. This is again, companies and work environment constantly change, which requires to be able to adapt to different situation of a workplace. Suppose a new employee or new general manager comes, which was not there earlier, so there will be a murmur in the shop floor to this thing, ye saab kya kar rahe hain? But they have to adjust with the new circumstances, new this thing. That is why this change is constant. Here are some skills to adaptability: self-management, optimism, calmness, analysis, and self-motivation. These are the few in adaptability. Next, be fast, bhai, time is going. Problem solving. Being able to analytically and creatively solve problem will be very important to whole company, including individual. So for problem solving, these are the subcategories: analysis, logical reasoning, observation, brainstorming, and decision making. See, I've got my few colleagues. For them, this brainstorming is a new word. So brainstorming gives an evolution of new ideas from the young workforce or young people. So this is very critical. Next. Power is there. Next, please. Be fast. Teamwork. Earlier, I missed that. I have left that slide because teamwork slide is here. Teamwork will never cease to be must-have soft skill. It helps to work effectively in a group and accomplish tasks. Example of skills related to teamwork are conflict management and resolution, collaboration, coordination, idea exchange, and mediation. So these are the skills which requires, these are few, but these are required. This has to be continuously monitored. Next, please. बहुत slow है यार. Creativity. Creativity is again, we generally link creativity with fields like art or design, but creativity is a broad term that involves several sub-skills from questioning to experimenting. Somebody is, please everybody be on mute. Here are some examples of creative skills: imagination, mind mapping, innovation, experimentation, and questioning. Next, please.
Leadership. Leadership refers to the ability to mentor, train, or guide.
Leadership refers to the ability to mentor. Mute everybody.
Leadership potential for two reasons.
Leadership refers to the ability to mentor, train, or guide. No matter the industry, employers prefer to hire applicants who shows they have leadership potential for two reasons. Employees with leadership skills shows more initiative and are more likely to invest themselves in helping the company to grow. The company can eventually promote employees with strong leadership role to better management position. Next slide, please. Skills related to leadership include management skill, authenticity, mentorship, generosity, and cultural intelligence. Next slide, please. Interpersonal skill. This is again a very critical skill. Interpersonal skills are all about how well employees interact with each other, tend after relationship and make a positive impression on those around. They should have empathy, humor, networking, tolerance, and diplomacy. These skills define their interpersonal skill. And next, please. Work ethic. Work ethics relate to valuing work and putting in the effort to yield result. It is a soft skill that employer will appreciate. Some soft skills related to work ethics are responsibility, discipline, dependability, commitment, and professionalism. See, many times employee may have excellent hard skill, but he is going on leave without any intimation. That makes his score to go down considerably because he is not dependable on behalf on his this thing capacity. Entrepreneur will not be able to execute certain orders, so he has to have a buffer, and this makes the employee's value to go down. So this is very critical. Time, all these 9 skills I have told, and this is the last 10th one. Attention to detail. Here is another skill no employer will reject: the ability to be thoroughly accurate, thorough and accurate. Paying attention even to minor details is what sets apart dedicated employee from those who just. I am not able to read. Who just want to get the job done and go home. See, this is again, certain people, 9 to 6, they don't want to spend 1 minute extra. They are not like, I recently when in my Australia visit, my son was telling, one employee has gone from 30,000 to 40,000 salary in 10 years time. Because he comes at 9 o'clock, whatever happens, he will leave at 6 o'clock. He does not go in detail. So his salary increment will come always like that. So dedication, detailing is required. Some other soft skills related to attention to details are scheduling, introspection, acuity, questioning, and critical observation. So this will give this thing, the new dimension to any human for understanding his capacity to perform certain jobs. Then after adulthood, you have got 2 possible avenue of earning. One is either you go in a job or you become entrepreneur. Or at a different stage of life, you can change from job to entrepreneur or entrepreneur to job, depending on. But all these soft skills are a must. Next, please. Next. Now, there is a very high rate of absenteeism and attrition in MSME sector because of many reasons. and every entrepreneur wants to work towards profit maximization and value creation. Please understand, every entrepreneur wants to work towards profit maximization and value creation. Towards these efforts of entrepreneur, SME Analytics Private Limited is starting a new service to measure change happened in your workforce every quarter on few questions, which will reduce absenteeism or attrition and improve interpersonal relation between your workforce, improve teamwork by better team, improve communication, quality and innovation like Kaizans, and after 2 or 3 quarters, identify the skill gap and training needs so that MSME grow to new heights. This is the new service which we are trying to give it to many MSME units. And my last 3 months, we have surveyed about 156 workers and about 20 entrepreneurs, because this kind of service is not available or it is not thought. We are trying to fill that gap with these questions. And after getting enough data, we'll develop AI engine, artificial intelligence engine to give predictive analysis so that MSME can increase their operational efficiency. All our our efforts are to increase the operational efficiency of existing MSME so that without large capex, more number of jobs can be created if they work efficiently using their available resources. So both tangible and intangible resources we are trying to bring up. And workforce is one of the intangible performance this thing. Next slide, please. Question answer. Next slide. This is the activity what we do. We have developed a Babaji tool which will analyze your balance sheet and profit and loss to give you 52 ratios. And this is a freemium model. This is a free service. As we want to develop Z score for MSME, we are giving this service free of cost. We are also giving this mentorship to MSME as well as this thing will help you to go to IPO level and many difficult journeys in between. With our 4 co-founders, we will be able to give you all the advice. Next. Recently, HICIA Innovation and Summit has awarded us as one up in Hyderabad in December. Next slide, please. See, one more service I am likely to give is I am a permanent resident of Australia and also citizens of India. So I am ready to offer my service as director for Australian companies who wants to expand in India. Similarly, I am ready to offer my service for Indian companies to be in Australia. Next slide, please. Our next webinar is Vision, Mission and Value Alignment for Growth, which will be held on 9/4. As our 2nd/4 is a festival here, we are not working on that day. Now we are open for, see, I will give my coordinate for connection. I request everybody to subscribe to my YouTube channel for past videos and lectures. Similarly, this also will be loaded on YouTube in this thing. These are my social media coordinates. You can note down. Thank you, everybody. And now I am open to question answer. Let's ask faster.
What are the hard skills needed for HR?
HR, I do not think, apart from your general knowledge, you require hard skill. But this human resources subject is getting extraordinary attention in last few years or last 2-3 decades. So many research students are working on various this thing. Generally, Thomas HR scale and other things are also used in many large companies. Psychrometric test is also getting done. But our effort in that direction is to create a small benchmark and use artificial intelligence machine to predict the possible absenteeism so that the entrepreneur can be prepared well in advance. Even attrition we can predict and then reduce that attrition. Next, please.
How do you validate soft skills?
See, there are no standard measure like I can measure a temperature of a body or something. It is most of the time general general observation, but many psychrometric tests which are existing for high level jobs, maybe simplified version can be used for measuring soft skills. Thomas HR this thing also, every employee or every human who was adult should go through to find out which are his skills. Many times, because from the childhood you have been told to become engineer or told to become doctor, without your inner conscious, you have got some inner conscious for painting, you become a doctor. Are you likely to be successful? It's a question. Next, please.
Are soft skills important than hard skills? Are soft skills more important than hard skills?
Recently, research shows that soft skill is much important than hard skill. But whether it is effective in workers, where the area where we want to work, I will say still hard skill are ruling. But if that gentleman or that worker is open to train his colleagues, that then he will require a lot of soft skill. See, yesterday I went to one company and they have got some 400 workers. So they rate the workers on 1 to 5 scale, and the person who is getting scale 5, he has to every Friday take 1 or 2 hour class for the number 1, number 2, and number 3. This way, they are creating internal mentors or internal consultant, and this way the returns on investment will be much higher. Next question, please.
What is the support available for skill development in MSME sector?
Academia, they skill gap. They are trying to, but as private sector, many colleges and many tutorials have come out to give that skill gap a big pillar, and lot of edutech startup has come up like Byju's, who are also in the same area for upskilling. Today, unlearning, learning, and higher learning, or unskilling, skilling, and upskilling is a continuous process till you die. So you will have to keep up learning new technologies, new use of new tools, what you can add up. So it's a continuous process, and definitely in MSME, from entrepreneur himself to the workers, these are to be implemented. But workers are much faster learning for a low tech technologies like WhatsApp, or they are keep learning, and they're learning. They also watch lot many YouTube videos, both for entertainment as well as their self-learning. So that is why we are insisting that every quarter, if we can measure the change, then we can motivate those workers who are learning fast to higher job, 5%, 10% higher job responsibility. Next, please.
Why are human capital metrics important?
Human capital metrics, say when an investor want to invest, he will invest on various parameters. But for IT companies and BPO companies, about 2 decades back, Narayan Murthy, a founder of Infosys, said that my employees go to sleep every day, so I lose my asset in the evening. That means his employees are going to home, so he is losing. So he does not know how many will come next day morning. So this is a big challenge. What's the question?
How to highlight soft skills in a job search?
How? No, before that. Earlier question.
Why are human capital metrics important?
So when they started employing international consultant, and they came out with a human capital valuation, and that is why latter part many other companies also follow that, because in IT sector, human brain is a machine, and then after Corona, their learning, unlearning, and relearning is becoming a very, very critical aspect. The same thing is applicable to MSME. And before Corona, there was no much awareness about for digital transformation. Now it has become must. Digital transformation you will have to do, but only thing is you can do it at your pace. Still you will have to do it. If you don't do it, you are not going to grow. And second very critical thing is for MSME is think world as a market, not only Hyderabad or not only Andhra or Telangana as your market or India as market. Look to your processes, establish the capacity so that you can get cost advantage. India has reached $400 billion export in this year, but that is a small step. We have to reach $1 trillion in manufacturing export, and we have to reach $1 trillion in service export, so that all my friends, unemployed youth, can get their bread and butter. Next question, please.
How to highlight soft skills in a job search?
See, if your question is towards job description, you can put what exactly you are looking from the proposed employee, so that if he is not matching, he should not come for a job. But see, it is a very difficult to judge. So various tools we will have to use, and if we are able to contribute, see, payroll attention and the payroll automation and all that has already been developed, but we are trying to do something for MSME workers, and that will help MSME entrepreneur to cut through and help him to grow value continuously. See, many MSME entrepreneurs, for small salary hike requirement, they leave the employees. They should understand the value of that employee to the contribution to the profit and loss of that company. But if an MSME entrepreneur will also have to be looking into loyalty versus new techniques. See, if somebody is loyal and he is there with working company for many times, He may not be an asset. So many things has to be done in HRM, and that can come by experience. Next question. Skills, first, skill mapping means what skill you got. Skill inventory mapping has to be done. It depends on, suppose if you have got a 5 people team or 10 people team, these are the indicators what I have given, and then you can decide your marks and things like that. If you map them and your mission, vision and value system and organization structure, you will be able to find out. You should understand, a new employee does not become productive next day onwards. He has to adjust with the existing system and change, more particularly in MSME, where systems are not well, processes are not well defined. And when processes are not defined well, there will be a conflict which a new entrepreneur, a new employee may have to absorb. That is why attrition rate for new employees are considerably higher than the old employees. I hope I answered. Any further question, Jagdish?
Yes. What is adaptability in the workplace?
See, adaptability in workplace. See, recently we changed our office. Now, whatever comfort was there or discomfort was there in old office and new office, if you come and demand certain immediate changes, then there may be a problem of many shortage of resources, shortage of similar kind of manpower who can get that item from the market and this thing. So you will have to adjust for few days or few months or few years, and then things will happen. So adaptability in the workplace, you will have to first identify and then make it vocal. Then only problems can be sorted out. If you are sitting in the corner and don't be a vocal, then either entrepreneur or your immediate next colleague may not be able to know the problem what you are facing. So communication is a must. So I am finding this difficulty, I am finding this difficulty. Talk to your next higher up as fast as possible so that things can be changed. Next question.
Last question. What are the most important work ethics?
I think I have defined very clearly work ethics. I don't have a ready reference here. You can go to my last but one slide or last but two slides, which will clearly define. Now, I hope that this is my last question. Thank you, everybody, to participating in a large number. And next Saturday, there will be no webinar. On 9th, again, we'll have a webinar on mission, vision, and value. Please participate in large number. As usual, social media links will be sent to you regularly. Thank you, everybody, to participate in a large number. Thanks.